Hello, I am Gabby Ray Talker. Recently I have been following the Bobbi Kristina Brown story and how she was found face down in a bathtub, similarly to how her mother, Whitney Houston, was found at the time of her death. On February 11, 2012, Whitney Houston was found face down in her bathtub and was pronounced dead that day. 3 years later, her daughter was found face down in her bathtub too. She was found by friends that performed CPR on her, but she immediately required to be hospitalized afterwards. So why did this mother and daughter experience such similar tragedies? There are so many theories and conspiracies on why Whitney Houston died and her daughter nearly followed. Let's start with Whitney Houston. Her autopsy shows that she drowned. Her toxicology report showed she had cocaine, marijuana, Xanax, Benadryl, and Flexeril. Her autopsy also showed that she had heart disease and one of her arteries was blocked by 60%. Then the cocaine use may have contributed to her death. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office confirmed that Whitney Houston's death was an accidental drowning. They believed that she fell face down in the bathtub and drowned, but other people have their own theories on how and why Whitney Houston drowned, such as her old assistant, Leola Brown, also sister of her ex-husband Bobby Brown. On a show appearance, Leola stated that Whitney Houston did not take baths in hotels. She said a majority of the family believed that Whitney Houston was murdered, but she did not specifically state why. However, she did say that Houston stated that Ray J, VH1 reality star, was her runner boy. Leola Brown interpreted the comment with the understanding that Ray J was Whitney Houston's drug supplier, but he denies the claims and says they are false. He also stated that he did not know Whitney was using drugs. Leola Brown had even said that she went to the hotel when hearing Whitney had died, and she saw Ray J in front of the hotel, with his head covered, and he was getting pushed in a car. In gathered statements from Leola Brown, she believed that Ray J may have given Whitney Houston bad drugs, and was nearby at the time of her death to clean up any drug traces. But Ray J's attorney says the claims are false. But still some are left with the belief that Ray J played a part in Houston's death. I call it the Ray J and Whitney drug conspiracy. Then there's another conspiracy that says Whitney Houston owed high-end drug dealers over $1 million in drug debt, according to this investigator Paul Hubel. He said he was hired by an anonymous source to investigate the death of Whitney Houston. He said that according to the hotel surveillance of where she stayed at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, 2 men were caught on tape that entered the hall. So I call that the Whitney Houston drug debt conspiracy. Then another conspiracy says that Whitney Houston was an Illuminati murder-sacrifice, and Clyde Davis, music industry executive, arranged it. Superstitious ones believe that Clyde Davis arranged for Whitney Houston murder because he had her booked to stay in the same hotel where he planned to have his annual Grammy party. Whitney Houston was pronounced dead on the floor above his event right before his party started. Instead of canceling the event, Davis decided to turn his event into a celebration of Whitney Houston in the same day of her death. Some people was convinced that Davis was tied to the Illuminati for continuing with his party in honor of Houston. So I call this the Whitney Houston Illuminati sacrifice conspiracy. So this brings me to the final conspiracy that I gathered, and that's the Nick Gordon conspiracy. Whitney Houston opened her home to Gordon when he was in high school. As he says, his mom put him out. The Houstons accepted Gordon as part of the family. They came to know Gordon as the brother of Bobbi Kristina, Whitney Houston's daughter. But then, for some strange turn of events, immediately after Whitney Houston dies, Gordon tries to become Bobbi Kristina's boyfriend. It just seems strange how fast that happened. Maybe he wanted to secure his position in Bobbi Kristina's life. Mind you, it was said that he was at the scene when Whitney Houston died. In the March 11th show of Dr. Phil, Gordon reveals that he tried to give Whitney Houston CPR, but he failed in getting air to her lungs. But wait a minute here. First, Whitney Houston drowns in a bathtub, left with Nick Gordon giving CPR, and, in that case, Houston dies. Then with Bobbi Kristina. Again, another person is found in the tub, left with Gordon giving CPR, as the hero. Why is it that two people had similar bathtub experiences with Gordon nearby? Or maybe it's just a coincidence, but, until we know the truth, then it remains a conspiracy. I call it the Whitney Houston and Bobbi Kristina Nick Gordon conspiracy. Perhaps Nick Gordon has two sides, a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was reported that Nick Gordon sat down with the TV doctor, and ended the session abruptly and angrily. He tells the doctor that he tried to kill himself twice, and if anything happens to Bobbi Kristina, he will kill himself. When Dr. Phil told him he needs to go to rehab, he storms out. So, here we are, two people that ended up in a bathtub with Nick Gordon nearby. What are the odds of that? So far, the only thing we really know is that Whitney Houston took Gordon in while he was in high school, having him near her the last 7 years of her life. For one thing, she did not legally adopt him nor add him to her will. Houston left everything to her daughter, Bobbi Kristina. But little did she know, Gordon would gain access to the inheritance too, with his attachment to Bobbi Kristina. Sources state that immediately after Whitney died, Gordon was trying to be Bobbi Kristina's boyfriend, and even the next couple years after that, there have been talks of engagement, a play marriage, and, from one friend, it was said that Bobbi Kristina was trying to get pregnant. Sources say that Nick Gordon did not even have to work. So who knows what led to the incident of Bobbi Kristina ending up in the bathtub? Some say that it was found in Bobbi Kristina texts messages that she wanted to leave Gordon. Others say that it was another night of fun and drugs that may have turned into a drug overdose, followed by a cover-up, which may have resulted in the bathtub scene. Starring Bobbi Kristina, followed by getting CPR from Gordon. This will be his second go-round at this that we know of, or is this a coincidence? Either way, I call it a conspiracy because both mother and daughter experienced a similar incident. But perhaps they were victims of another conspiracy or theory? Which do you believe, the Ray J, the drug debt, the Illuminati murder, or the Nick Gordon conspiracy? Or maybe you believe they committed suicide? Or maybe a drug reaction, drug overdose, or maybe even an accidental death? Leave your comments, and let me know which of these conspiracies, or theories, that you believe happened, and have most likely to have occurred with these two. This is Gabby Ray Talker. Go ahead and like this video. Remember to subscribe to see my next. And come follow me on Twitter too. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.